Good morning, and good morning. I tell you, I am absolutely stoked. I am so excited about this particular presentation today. This word, are you stuck? I believe there's a lot of people who are stuck who don't know anything about Juneteenth. And so I said, this is an opportunity for a discussion, just like, and y'all know how we do it. Big Mo, I see your name up in there. This is just a fun opportunity to really talk about history as it was versus the history that we may never have experienced, but we need to know. We need to know. I'm going to start off though, and I meant to call my little friends and tell them thank you so much. I did thank them yesterday at my meeting. That was my last Rotary meeting as president of my Rotary Club. Full meeting. I still have some obligations before we do our change of command on the 27th of June. But I'm just excited about and I'm going to say it. I'm happy about what God has done in my life. The fact that I'm able to see, to hear, to walk. This morning I was up and out at 6 o'clock and I did my exercise. So I'm ready. Came back, had a nutritional breakfast, and now I am doing my vlog. And the other things, I just wanted to catch you up. If you're in the Pensacola area, Juneteenth is in full effect. Tomorrow they're having the Juneteenth Unity Festival, which is downtown at the Museum Plaza. And I believe it's on Tarragona. And that's exciting because our choir from our church, Greater Little Rock Baptist Church, here in the city will be, a part of that celebration, as well as so many other people that have just taken on this celebration in a form that makes sense to us and to others, because it's not just a celebration of the emancipation and the full understanding of emancipation for all, as opposed to just some having known in certain states, but the realization that we as white, black, whatever you're into, whatever color of skin you are owning, um, it's a celebration. Let's celebrating freedom, celebrating, differences, celebrating togetherness, celebrating unity. That's what it's all about. So anyway, I'm going to start off by saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Look at these. Yesterday, these were given to me. They are live and beautiful, but they were given to me by my dear, dear friends who I met only probably 8 months ago, but they have shown themselves to be true Rotarians, and that would be Tracy and and Allison. Tracy and Allison Holt, Holt. Wonderful, wonderful people that have joined the Rotary, taken on so many things and experiencing some different levels of service and meeting people and forming relationships with other businesses in the city. So that's what we do. And I would love for you all to come and join our Rotary Club, which I'm at Pensacola Suburban West Rotary Club. We meet every Thursday. I'm going to put these down. We meet every Thursday at the Pensacola Yacht Club, except for the next couple of Thursdays, because we're going to be doing some offsite stuff, some celebration, and then, of course, the final time, which will be the 27th, we're only doing no lunch. We usually meet at 12 noon officially. You can come in and start getting your food, and our meeting starts at 12:15 to 1:15 at the most. But most of the time, we're done earlier than that. So if you're on a tight schedule, still come. You'll find something there. Good morning, Maurice. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited for this particular session, is with the way I started. Even if they don't watch it until later on, it's just going to be wonderful. And also on Monday, another Juneteenth celebration at the University of West Florida. And I'm a part of we're reenacting a love story that happened here in Pensacola, Florida, written by Robin Richard, arranged musically by Eric Dozier, and also with some assistance from Lloyd Richard Jr. as he was also one of the singers. And then there's yours truly. I am the other singer. So it is a love story between us, and we will be having fun. It's going to be 10:30 to 1:30 over at the University of West Florida in their Commons area, their Commons building. So I'm excited. There's a lot to do, but life is just that. We need to enjoy what life we have and enjoy it in such a way that we include others and certainly invite them into our space to have a good time. So anyway, let's talk about Juneteenth. And, I decided to go back and get just a little bit of history for our opening sections, and then we'll go on to the word. So it says, and I'll ask you, are you stuck? Sometimes we are, because we don't know all the details. And they say sometimes the devil is in the details. If we probably knew some things about some people or some situations, we would be more than surprised. We would probably be in shock, just absolutely blown away by it. But here's the deal. It says the first Juneteenth was on June 19th, 1865, nearly 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln emancipated enslaved Africans in America. It says Union troops arrived at Galveston Bay, Texas, with news of freedom. More than 250,000 African Americans embraced freedom by the executive decree of which that became known as the Juneteenth or Freedom Day. It says, with the principles of self-determination, citizenship, and democracy magnifying their hopes and dreams, those Texans held fast to the promise of true liberty for all. And it says, and it's further on the statement, and I found this on a Juneteenth website. I think I have it at the end. And but anyway, I'll read what I have. It says, and this is a quote. It says, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection between heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired laborer. It says, and Gordon Granger, Union General, June 19th, 1895. And it says, the historical legacy of Juneteenth is often an overlooked event in our nation's history. But on June 19th, Union troops freed enslaved African Americans in Galveston across Texas some 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Can you imagine living and never knowing that you had the freedom to do what you wanted to do, but you lived in an area where it wasn't, it wasn't telecast, it wasn't broadcast, it wasn't, megaphoned. It was like a quiet known. So no one knew about it. Can you imagine? I just think that would have probably have been just such a shock, to find out that as a slave, I really do have rights. I really can be seen. I really have a meaning in life. And it's not just to serve others unless I want to do the serving, but it's one of that I'm free. So let's get into it. Let's get into Juneteenth. And I broke it down and tried to make it where you could kind of understand it as how it would play out to me if I were to take each word and make it into something that has a meaning that relates back to what Juneteenth could have been for them, but also can be significantly understood for us. So Juneteenth, it says that the holiday celebrated on June 19th. Of course, that's this coming Wednesday, of which it is a national holiday. And it says to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the U.S. The holiday was first celebrated in Texas, where on that date in 1865, in the aftermath of the Civil War, enslaved people were declared free under the terms of the 1862 Emancipation Proclamation. So when I break this word down, I'm thinking of how I would feel. How would Winnie feel if I found out as a slave that I am free, that I'm free? My first word for J is jubilation. I would be absolutely jubilant, period. Okay, over the top, excited, jumping up and down. I just can't imagine being anything less than that. So jubilation talks about the freeing of great happiness and triumph, the feeling of great happiness and triumph. It says it's exultation, it's triumph, it's joy, it's elation, it's euphoria. I can imagine me almost being drunk on the knowledge that I can go where I want to go. But see, I also have this idea that because everything that's supposed to be straight up isn't straight, there's still probably a lean someplace. So I'm quite sure people were still leaning towards what they had lived through, were used to, and could not get away from whomever it was that they were tied to. And so in that instance, we might be talking about the people who owned them. Even their names were not their own. Their names that might have been, some other names, but they ended up with the person who owned them, their name. So it also talks about the jubilation being euphoria, ecstasy, rapture, exuberance, and of course, glee. So for me, I could just see it. Hey, Debbie. I'm talking about Juneteenth, of which many people never knew much about until it started getting around in the word, and finally it became a national holiday. But some people still don't understand the significance of it. So good morning, Megan. How are you? Good to have you in the space. I'm just excited about this word because what I do when I'm breaking down words, I'm always looking for how can I make it relatable to the original word, but still giving meaning for how I can add depth to the original word. Therefore, I'm adding depth. I'm adding new words to the vocabulary and new ideas. There's new ways of thinking towards things. So anyway, jubilation was my first word that I came up in the letter for today, the word of today, which is Juneteenth. And it says, what's the word? Juneteenth. 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 And it says Juneteenth, and it's the celebration of the holiday that we're talking about, where slaves were finally realizing that they were emancipated. They were emancipated, and that coming to them or to their attention or their knowledge 2 years after everything was already done. Jolly, joy, yes. I think all of those fit perfectly. Joy, jolly, jubilant, jubilation, I love it. And then when we go on to our U in Juneteenth for me is unbound. Unbound. Can you imagine being, restricted on where you go, what you do, who you can talk to, when you can talk, when you can eat, what they will give you to eat? Can you imagine that? I'm just trying to get you to understand that we as the people of, I would say, 2024, we don't know anything about this. Nothing. We didn't live in that period. We don't know. But I'm just talking about, can you imagine? United. That's good. I love that word, united. I put unbound, not bound anymore, such as not being fastened and not confined. Not confined, meaning I can walk to the end of this road if I want to, and no one has to tell me to turn around and come back. Don't you look like you running, or whatever they might be telling me. I can live my life. I can live it. I can enjoy it. So anyway, unbound says it when you're loose. It says you're free, you're unrestrained, at large. Okay, it says at liberty, footloose, unleashed. I like that word, unleashed. Underdog no more. Come on. I love it. Underdog no more. Done with it. It says clear, untied, unchained, and uncaged. How about all them uns came under unbound? It's wonderful. our words are so connected in terms of giving it real meaning when we drill down into the words. Drill it down. Find out what else it could mean and how you feel about it. Because sometimes we have some feelings about some of these words we hear. Undo. Oh, that's wonderful, Debbie. We do need to undo. We need to undo some of the things that we've not heard. We've not heard because we can't do anything with them until we hear them. Once we hear them, then we undo how we might be thinking about them. Because sometimes we only get the top of the crust. We don't get down into the real juicy portion of the pie. We don't know it. We don't know it. So sometimes it's up to us to find out more that we need to know. And so we can undo the negativity or whatever it comes. My N is just that, naive. How many people have been in situations where they've been, and we can even make this modern day. How many women or men have been in relationships or marriages where they have been bound, where they have been basically made naive about the realness of the world, about the understanding of life because someone is controlling them. To me, that can't be any different than what these people probably felt as they were understanding what enslavement meant versus emancipation. There's a correlation, but it's one that makes it, one is bad and one is wonderful. One's not good, one's the other good. Numb. Wow, that's good. That's good, Debbie. That's good. Why is it naive? I believe that these people that discovered 2 years after the emancipation that they were emancipated, they were naive. They did not know. And naive is a person or action showing a lack of experience, wisdom, or judgment. It says it's something that comes to them as they're being innocent or unsophisticated. And a lot of times, if you go back through some of what history talks about for people who were enslaved, they did not know how to read. So therefore, even if it was blasted on, whatever wire they had back then, or in the 1862s, when it was whatever went back along that way, okay, in terms of how messages were gotten out to the public or sent out to the public, if they couldn't read, even if they saw it on like a newspaper or something, what were they going to do with it? Nothing. They couldn't read it. They couldn't read it. So naive talks also about it being inexperienced, untrusting, gullible, and credulous. All of those words. All of those words, I'm looking at this morning and I'm saying these are just wonderful words that we're just adding not only to our vocabulary, but getting a deeper understanding of how people felt about Juneteenth once they understood that they had been basically wiped out, pushed to the side, as a sub-level people that were working for others, but no one knew enough to be able to read anything. And they made sure that the information was quiet enough amongst themselves that the people that needed to know never knew. So this is why they had this period of naivety. They just didn't know. My E, which is J-U-N, I'm on the E of Juneteenth, is ethical. At some point, when does being ethical come into play? And being ethical talks about relating to the moral principles or the branch of knowledge dealing with these things, dealing with it, making sure that people understood and therefore the information was available to them. Okay, exit. I love you, Debbie. Nervous? Nope, ain't gonna do it. See, I already know that you and I probably would have been on the same plantation. We'd have been on the same plantation. You may be in the house, but I'll be outside the house. But we'd have been on the same plantation because our people out there talking about, I ain't doing that today. It's too hot out here. What? Pick what? So, yes, I already know that you and I have trouble, Debbie. But being ethical really talks to being moral, social, behaviorally correct, looking at being right and not making people, victims of your, I would say your position and your distastefulness, looking at being honorable and making it where people can feel who they are and not only feel it, but know and be comfortable in it. That would be great. Evaluate, that's good. Plantation to troublemakers. Yes, we would. We probably would have had one of the first uprisings. We probably we'd be after Frederick Douglass and them, but we would be okay. I'm quit acting up. Okay, here's a new word because I had to look up the meaning of it. It's called thraldom. thralldom. Thraldom. And it says as in slavery. This is my T. It says it's the state of being an enslaved person. So we could have people who are in thraldom today. Okay, domestic things going on. People, like did you all remember a couple of years ago where the children were held by a mother and father in basements, and they were chained, and they were denied food and denied clothing and denied appropriate bathroom care. Do y'all remember that? That was something else. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Erica. How are you doing, love? Today our word is Juneteenth, and I'm having fun with it. So you'll have to go back and listen to what you didn't hear. But I'm having fun with the word, only to really have people expand on understanding the significance of what Juneteenth represents. But good morning to you. Okay, temptation. Okay, temptation. And good morning, Ardelia. How are you? I'm just trying. The thread kind of comes in kind of slow, so I may or may not see you right away. But good morning, you guys. I love you. I love y'all. But anyway, my T so far, the word is Juneteenth for those who just came in. So my T is for thraldom, which is as in slavery, and it's the state of being an enslaved person. And even though we don't have, I would say, the overtness of slavery going on, there's probably some people who could still relate to that word because they are in relationships, they are in homes that something like that is going on today, where they can't go anywhere, they can't receive phone calls, they can't be involved with other people, nobody can come over, they may be even worse by being chained or denied food or stripped of who they are. All that would be a part of what thraldom does, because it is a form of slavery. It said it is servitude, it is bondage, it is holding the yoke of somebody, it's servility, it's captivity, it's subjection, it's dependence, it's subjugation, it's peonage, peonage, and it's also enchantment, like peon, but peonage and enchantment. I tell you, this stuff blew me away when I was putting together. And I started on this. I had worked all day yesterday, and I started on this at 3 a.m. this morning. And then I went out and exercised and came back to say, okay, Lord, give it to me again. And he did. So this was a way to open up this whole word of Juneteenth and make sense of it, so that people understood that concept has meaning. It wasn't just that these people were freed, but it was that they were naive and they were denied and they were enslaved, and they were still can you imagine getting 2 more years of working for somebody and not being paid much or anything at all? Think about that. That's how you can get to the realization of it. But Debbie said, teach. Thank you. Torture, yes, torment, temptation, all those are wonderful. Every single one of them. We move in our word of Juneteenth. My second E is enslavement, a state of being enslaved. And as I said, let's be honest. You know, there was a domestic abuse case, murder suicide. Just I think it might have been, Friday or Saturday night, and not far from the area where I live. And all I kept thinking of is that there were some signs. Having been a counselor for years, there were signs somebody missed them. Somebody missed them, or the person was too afraid, too fearful to tell them. You don't want anybody that will hold you to the point where you can't, know your freedom, feel your freedom, do you, and they're holding you back, making sure that you cannot, you can only eat certain things or go certain places, and you have to go with them. Those are signs, and you need to, tell somebody, and then get out. Plain and simple, get out. So anyway, that is so enslavement talks about it being the state of being enslaved, which is bondage. Servitude is serfdom, 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 subjugation, dependence, because people, a lot of times, they still love whoever made them dependent. It's a psychological thing, and it goes on, it goes on. And then it talks about imprisonment, but somebody wrote emotional. Absolutely. It is definitely an emotional trip, where somebody is attached to somebody who may be abusing them, but they don't know it. They're afraid to speak on it. They may even know it, but they're afraid to speak on it. And so, you talk about, wow, that's wild. That is wild. My second E is for emancipation. So I first talked about enslavement, which was lockdown, emancipation, which is the freedom that comes. So once this was discovered in Galveston, Texas, the people were like, okay, that's it. I'm ready to go, which is what Debbie was saying. What else can I do? But I've been emancipated, so I have rights now. I didn't have rights before because they were not law abiding, and I didn't know enough to be able to read it and understand it, that it meant me too. So emancipation means giving freedom and liberation, setting one free, releasing them, discharging, unchanging, unfettered, unbridled, disentrailment, and liberty. All of those things speak to emancipation, and I have to be honest with you. I am overly grateful, thankful, humbled by the fact that I wasn't given that period of time to live in, because I can imagine after that period that the cohort or the generation that came after that period of enslavement were always still remembering what happened to their parents or their grandparents, and then what that meant for them. So, it's like you're always looking over your shoulder, always concerned about what's next. Let's see, then we move on in our word, and we come to the end. My end of Juneteenth is neglect. At some point in time, this population of people were neglected by the state, the governor, the landowners, the people in charge. That's the best way to put it. They were forgotten. Failed to care for properly. If I know something can benefit other people and I don't tell it, then excuse me. That's wrong. I may even tell you about a coupon that I think is good. You may use it or not, but at least you know about it. Normal. Oh yeah. What becomes normal? That's good, Debbie. Because sometimes when people have been neglected, they don't know they're normal. They don't know they know the normal that they live in, but they don't know the normal that they should be or could be living in. Because they once again, they were neglected. They were left out. So it says that they're failed to be cared for properly, failed to provide for. They basically have been abandoned. It says they've been forsaken and they've been mistreated. Nomad. Oh, that's good. How many of us have probably, in our historical readings, understood the significance of a nomad? They don't, they go wander, they wander, they go wherever someone tells them to go. A nomad. Wow. When we move on in our word, and we got 2 more letters to deal with, is my T. What would you put for your T? I'm going to ask you that. What would you use for your T in Juneteenth? What would you use? What word would you think you could add for that? And I know somebody's probably going to come up with it because it was significant to me. So it came right up, and then once I looked up the rest of the meeting and added the synonyms, it made even more sense. Travel. Okay. Anybody else? I had a little bit of my cold coffee. Okay, well, I have truth. Tension. Ooh, that's good. Tension. So truth, it says the quality or state of being true. It's the veracity, the truthfulness, the validity of something, the rightness. At some point, there are a whole bunch of people that weren't right. Then it talks about the authenticity of what was being told or not told. And then it says the factuality of things. What are the facts? Sometimes, as I said, the details have all the facts if you get down into the details. But if you only go surface, if you only go top crust, then you don't know what else is being made up or thrown into what's underneath. Because the underneath may be the thing that stirs you away from what you need to know, keeps you off the track of what is important. The thoughtfulness, oh, that's good. Because sometimes we can be thoughtful, but others may not. Transformation, oh my goodness, that's good too. Tension, travel, transformation. Can you imagine the transformation that people made once they found this out, that they were free? Can you imagine the thoughtfulness that they had for each other, trying to move ahead? Hey, look, I found out that, so and so and so and so. Can you imagine the information that they were spreading? Like, sister, we free. Can you imagine that? I just think it's wonderful. I really and truthfully do. That once you add all these things together and add other words to it, it makes sense that you understand all that there is about, the lives they lived and the life you are living. It has no resemblance, none, unless you're, in some place in a bad relationship and not able to make decisions for yourself. Now, my last letter is an H. What do you all come up with H? I'm going to give you that before I do my last letter. I thought it was going to take me a long time to do this, but I'm good. Oh, and Debbie just wanted to let you know that Joan will be back a little bit later in the month. Her son passed away unexpectedly, so she's out. But she did want me to let everybody know that that's why she's not on. But she's not far. She's not far. She called me and we had a heart talk, and she said that she just enjoys the group and that she will be back when she can. Homage. Oh, that's good. Hooray. Oh, come on now. History. All of them good. Oh my gosh. Tell her I'm so sorry. I will. In fact, I'm going to send her a message today. So I will make sure that I mention that you mentioned her. Okay. I put down humane. At some point in time, we have to believe. Hostage. Yes, hostage is good too. We have to believe that these people had absolutely inhumane treatment. Slavery was wrong, and there was inhumane treatment assigned to it, but we know that now. And it says, so if you wanted the sign where it's positive, it would be humane. So it would be having and showing compassion and benevolence. Isn't that what we try to do? Where you're good to people. It says where you can it says where you show compassion, kindness, consideration, you're tolerant, you have sympatheticness, you have sympathy, offering a word of being sympathetic and understanding. It says you're tender, you're not harsh, you're tender. It says you're good, and overall you would be a humanitarian. I tell you, this was. I hope to do this one again next year, because I think if more people know that there's folks like me that will break a word down in a minute and make it my own by adding conversation to it, understanding, visualization, humanity, you know, flash and throw away. I see it, I don't need it, get rid of it. Or wow, this opens this up where this is even better than what was expected. So listen, I'm hoping that you all are going to have a good couple of days. I will not be here on Monday because Monday is, and I probably will not do Wednesday either. So next week I won't be here Monday or Wednesday. Monday I'm doing a reenactment of a love story that happened during the period of at the time of Juneteenth. Celebration was being celebrated in Texas, but there was a period during that time that things were going on here in Florida, and specifically Pensacola. So I'm a part of that. It is a love story. I am singing, and they put the songs to music. And these were songs that were written years and years ago. So one of our local historians, which is Robin Richard, has written this story, and it is so cool, and I'm really excited about it. And so I'm the singer, and I am Sarah, who is the love interest of Abraham. And Abraham is a person that loses his life, but still has this love, this unacquieted love for Sarah. And it all began with a bonnet. So anyway, I'm excited about that, and I'm going to rehearse. We got a couple of hours of rehearsal today, so I'm going to be doing that. And so I'll be at UWF on Monday. If you're in the area, UWF 10:30, it starts the Juneteenth celebration. Also downtown at Museum Plaza, or Museum Park, whatever. I think they're calling it Museum Plaza. That starts at, I think it's noon to 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. And that will be put on by the Watson Foundation and Levin Papantonio and the local folks that are all going to be a part of that. So my choir will be singing with that from my church, Greater Little Rock Baptist Church. So I'm all into it. All weekend long, I'm going to be not just celebrating, but actually participating in something that I hold to be a good thing to know, a good thing to learn more about, and a good thing to be appreciative of, that I wasn't a part of that era in life and the life that I was given. Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing? Good to see you in the space. Love you guys. And thank you. I'm going to see you all. I'm going to do, wait a minute. Look at my flowers. Somebody, I can't get them in the thing right. Somebody gave me these yesterday at my last Rotary meeting that I'm officially leading, which was yesterday. I have a couple of more things to do my wind down, but I'm excited just about life. The fact that I'm giving it and I'm trying to do something with it, not just for me, but for others. But I want you all to have a safe day, a safe weekend. Enjoy yourselves, whatever you're going to do. And think about Juneteenth long enough to say, I am grateful that it wasn't me, but I'm so glad that such a day happened, that people who needed to know of their freedom and the fact that they had been emancipated was known to them. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. If y'all don't do anything else, hit that share button today, okay? And I will see you soon. I see you next Friday. So I'm going to see you actually a week from today. All right? A week from today. Take care. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.